Most Amazon sellers think the reason why their revenue isn't going up is because of traffic, but the real problem is that no one is clicking your product. And if you don't win the click, you don't get sales and you don't get higher keyword rankings and you don't grow your revenue. On Amazon, your main image is one of the biggest drivers in determining whether you can actually scale on the platform. So in this video, I'll go over all of that and a few best practices we use for our clients in-house to improve the click-through rate and get more sales in the long run. The first thing I want you to understand is that Amazon is not a traffic game, it's about getting the click first. Let's look at two scenarios. If you sell the same product on your own website compared to Amazon, what is the difference? On your own website, it's only your product, it's only your listing, it's your brand. So you just have to convert the buyer at that same level. But the issue is you have to get that traffic, right? Either that's through Meta ads, Google ads, TikTok shop, whatever to get the traffic. Now on Amazon, it's different because the customer is already searching for what you are offering. If I'm selling, for example, I have a scented air freshener, a lavender scented air freshener. They're already trying to buy this product right here. Now it's on me to determine whether they want to click on my listing or someone else's. So that's the real battle. How can I get them to click on my listing instead of the competitors? And that's what we're trying to figure out. So the first thing is win the click first, because there is nothing else after that. If you don't get a click, they scroll past you, they go to a competitor, which means you don't get the sale, which means you don't get higher keyword rankings. So your listing is stuck on page 2, 3, 4, and 5, which means you never grow, right? You're never gonna grow, you're never gonna get more profitable sales, and you're never gonna overall increase your revenue. Now let's say you already know about click-through rate and you've tried so many things to fix it, but it's still too low compared to what your competitors have. Now, here's a few reasons as to why that is. First thing is that you might just look like everyone else and your listing does not stand out as to why they should click on yours. So just imagine you search a product on Amazon, there's like 20 listings to get hit with: sponsored display ads, sponsored brand video, top 3 ad results, and then the top organic results. There's so many listings. And they're all pretty much selling the same thing, right? For example, if I'm selling a lavender scented air freshener, most listings are going to have this on the main image. Maybe they have some of the lavender elements. They have the labels open there, and it's pretty simple. But the next thing is how to get them to stand out and overall click on my listing. So what are some things that are really not out of our control? For example, reviews. When you launch a product or you're already scaling a product, it's typically over time, it takes time to get more and more reviews. So if your competitor has 10,000 reviews, you probably can't compete with them, right? So it's like, okay, we can't do that. What else can we do? Next thing is pricing. If they're too cheap and you can, for no reason, can't compete at those levels, we know we're not gonna put our price down at a super low level. Another thing that's gone. And having the best deal, for example, that's something we can control. Maybe have discounts, strike to price, add more value, a 2-pack, a 3-pack, anything. But the number one thing is if you blend in, you're gonna lose. So we have to differentiate, whether that's by adding a bundle, a better option, having cheaper price, having more reviews, overall making our main image really clickbaity to the point where they're intrigued enough to click onto our listing. And that's something we're trying to figure out in this video. So what do I mean by clickbaity? So by clickbaity, I mean you have to just get their attention to click onto your listing. And you're not lying to them. You're just trying to get them to see all the value in your listing. So for example, instant recognition. What is this product? It's clear right away in under 1 second. For example, if I'm selling this is up front in my face with probably the label on it, lavender scented air freshener, right in your face. Okay. Next thing is curiosity. So you can do a bunch of stuff to get curiosity. If I'm selling this, I include a lot of lavender elements in the background. So like leaves of lavender, bright purple colors to showcase, hey, this is what it is. Anything to get them to feel it more in-house, like this is the smell. And next thing is perceived value. So if you add more to the main image, it's better, it shows more value. For example, if I'm selling this, an 8-pack of this, and everyone else is selling a 4 or 5-pack, I want to make sure all 8 are visually appealing in my main image, and in the text that says 8-pack, lavender, whatever. But you want to visually showcase that because that's the most important thing. If they can't see it within 1 to 2 seconds, they're going to scroll right past. So if I have a better deal than my competitors, I want it to be open in writing and visually. Show an 8-pack, show a 12-pack, show a 6-count, show it in writing also. These are just some examples you can do. So a simple analogy, think of your main image as a billboard on a highway. You drive a highway, you see a million billboards. What stands out? So maybe something that has a unique text or has a unique visual or a graphic that stands out. You have less than a second to make someone turn their head. Because when you're driving on a highway, you have 1-2 seconds before you drive right past. So you want to make sure you get their attention within that time frame. Real quick, if you need help scaling on Amazon, you can get your free Amazon audit down below in the bio, where me and my team will walk through all of your numbers, break down exactly where you're wasting money on PPC, and create a plan for you to scale to the next level. So if you're interested in that, hit the link down below in the bio. So let's go over some examples right in real time. So right now we have a double hammock listing right here, selling for $75, so it's pretty expensive. okay? And they have Amazon Choice badge, which is pretty good. But let's have a look at the main image. This is the most important thing. As you can see, they have the hammock. But what's the most important thing? Portable hammock. For example, if someone's searching for a hammock and they see the text portable hammock, they can clearly read that very easily right in their face. Next thing is 9 color options, which is pretty unique. They're showcasing exactly that there's a bunch of variety to this if they want to click it. And you can clearly see all the colors. They have like all these colors here that they can buy. Now, next thing is showed exactly what the actual hammock is. So it's a Rue double hammock. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's probably something that someone searching for it would know. But what they're doing correctly is that they're showing the keyword visually. You know, someone can understand it right away, and they're showing all the variety in it. Like they have 9 different color options. Now let's have a look here. For example, painting brushes. Which one here stands out from the rest? It's pretty simple. It's the bestseller one. But why is that? It's because it's showing all of the utensils in the package. So you see all the value. Like there's like 20 different here. But also another thing, you can clearly see a 10. So I don't know what that 10 even means. For example, let's click it. So I'll show you in real time. 10 artist brushes. So you can't actually read the artist brushes, but you can still clearly read the 10. And that visually showcases to someone that there's more intrigue here. Versus these ones, there's no numbers, there's no nothing. And you can see exactly why this one's selling 10,000 units and the other ones are doing much less. And one last one right here, this is a portable charger. Look at this one. They're crushing it, selling 4,000 units a month. And it's pretty simple. They just show exactly, this is the charger and this is the phone. And they're showing like the electric or the, you know, whatever they use to attract it. It's visually appealing. They can clearly see how it works right then and there. They slap it back on the phone and the phone's gonna charge. Pretty simple, but it catches the eye because of the blue color on it. So some proven ways to make your main image stand out. Obviously, this varies from what category you're selling in, okay? But if you're selling bundles, show the bundles. A 3-pack, 4-pack, 5-pack, show it in writing. Another thing, highlight key components. So if you have multiple parts, break out all the parts so they see the value. For example, for the painting kit, show the brush, show how many in it, show maybe the color that you have in it, anything to add more value to the main image. Another thing is visualize how it works. So I just showed you the charger case, right? It's showing how it works by putting it on the back of the phone and they can clearly see the context for it. Fourth way is make size and value obvious. So if you're selling a bigger version than your competitors or a higher quality one, make sure your main image showcases that. It showcases the size difference, or maybe if it's like a battery thing, how much longer it lasts, so that you can justify why it's priced as the way it is. And even another thing is you can add contrast for competitors. If they use white backgrounds, obviously you have to use a white background, but you can find a ways through it. Use a little bit unique things. What you want to do is you always want to bridge on that Amazon guideline, because the biggest competitors in your space are the ones that are going above and beyond, where Amazon might flag them a little bit and they have to reinstate another listing and they have to re-put a new main image. But the ones that do it properly, that increase is definitely worth it. You don't want to just stay within Amazon's guidelines, because they are the ones who also do it too. Look at Amazon's own products, they're going against their own guidelines. So you always want to try and go above and beyond and try out different things to make your product stand out. Now, another very important thing is that your click-through rate is not fixed. It changes by keyword. Now, this is very advanced if you are a brand that's crushing it and you're trying to analyze every single number to scale further, is that different keywords have different numbers. It can be the same product, but different keyword. Let's say, for example, you have 3 keywords that have their own set of customers and they all have different search volume. Your main image is going to perform differently compared to all 3 of these, because it's different customers looking for different things. So, for example, if you have one keyword that you know you want to rank higher for, but for some reason the click-through rate is not high enough, can I tailor anything to this keyword to make it more appealing to the customer? Maybe add that keyword onto your main image, add it to the packaging, anything like that, because now you're going to get more clicks and more sales for these high-end keywords. So I always recommend you build your listings around your most important keywords. Look to the customer's shoe. If they're searching for this keyword, what makes your main image stand out to get them to click onto your listing? You can look at your competitors, what they're doing. You can look at your own Amazon data. You can look into, ChatGPT. You can use any AI tools to help, improve your main image. But it's very important to, not just tailor it to your category, but to your most important keywords. So why should you act with urgency if you have a low click-through rate? And that's directly tied to, because it kills your PPC performance, like absolutely crushes it. And here's why. If your click-through rate is bad, your cost per click will rise, because Amazon's algorithm performs like this. If they see your listing is spending a lot of money on ads but isn't getting clicks, or just wasting a spot, they're going to prioritize other listings because they're trying to make more money. So if you're not bringing them more money, they're going to drop you more, which means your cost per click is going to rise. You're going to have to overspend on ads to be more visible, okay? And you have fewer clicks per dollar. And what does this mean? Overall, like the overall point is you're not gonna get enough sales, right? And your organic ranking is not gonna stay up top. It's not gonna scale. It's gonna just drop, 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 drop. So you never want to scale your PPC budget unless you first fix your click-through rate. So if we're scaling, don't increase your ad spend, try to scale, and then wonder why it's not working, and then try to fix your main image. What you want to do is instead is first fix your main image, fix your click-through rate for your main keywords, fix your conversion rate also, then based off the data, you scale your PPC spend. So if you fix the click, you fix everything. If you have a higher click-through rate than your competitors, you will always have a chance to compete because Amazon will give you a better chance to compete on search terms and have a lower cost per click and overall have higher organic rankings. So it is super, super important to fix your main image. So always audit your main image. Does it stop the scroll for your one keyword? Get a friend, family to search your product on Amazon, analyze all of the main images, and give the honest thoughts of like whether they'll click on your listing or someone else's and for what reason. So then maybe you can try to fix yours. Next thing is identify your critical keywords. So our main keywords, we want to make sure our main image is tailored specifically to these terms because that's where the money is going to be. Third thing is you want to test aggressively. Make 5-10 different iterations of your main image. Test it out with Amazon's manager experiments. You can use a bunch of tools like PickFu, for example. Test out your main images a bunch because that's really how the brands win. And last thing is pretty much once you fix your click-through rate, then you can scale. You can increase your PPC budget confidently so that you're not always worried about performance tanking and overall your profit shrinking. So let me know what you've tried to improve your click-through rate on Amazon. I'm always intrigued to see what people do in different categories. I'll link a video here about an Amazon click-through video I posted before where I walk through a bunch of different categories and what people are doing with their main images on that. Lastly, if you need help scaling on Amazon, you can get your free Amazon audit link down below in the bio where my team will walk through all your numbers and create a plan for you to scale to the next level. So hit the bio. Talk soon.